Hi, welcome. Enjoy the content, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Nathan always knew he wasn't the perfect husband. At 31, buried in code and algorithms as a software engineer, he recognized his shortcomings. He worked too much, came home late, and rarely showed up at Emma's social events. She never openly complained, but he saw that flicker of disappointment in her eyes every time he declined an invitation. The annual company party where Emma worked as a marketing manager was one of those events Nathan always avoided. Small talk with strangers, loud music, expensive drinks, it wasn't his scene. But that Friday, something changed. Maybe it was the weight of accumulated guilt, maybe a genuine desire to be better. Nathan decided to surprise her. He left the office early, stopped by home to change clothes, and drove to the hotel where the party was being held. The parking lot was full, music pulsing through the windows of the main ballroom. Nathan adjusted his tie, nervous like a teenager on a first date. Emma had no idea he was coming. Nobody did. That was the surprise. As he walked into the event hall, the first thing Nathan noticed was the looks. Not the warm, welcoming glances he'd expected, but something else: discomfort, surprise. Some of Emma's colleagues he recognized from her Instagram photos quickly looked away. A woman in a blue dress choked on her drink when she saw him. Nathan felt a chill run down his neck but brushed it off. He was being paranoid. Or maybe not. Some of those stares seemed to carry unspoken knowledge, like people knew something he didn't. He moved through the room, smiling politely, searching for his wife. Emma wasn't among the groups chatting near the bar. She wasn't on the makeshift dance floor. She wasn't on the couches by the entrance. Nathan stopped a young guy wearing the company badge. "Excuse me, have you seen Emma?" "Emma Harris, from marketing?" The guy blinked, clearly uncomfortable. I think she was around about 20 minutes ago. Maybe she went to the restroom?" The answer came too fast, too rehearsed. Nathan thanked him and kept looking. 15 minutes passed. The hotel was large, with multiple floors. The party filled the main ballroom on the ground floor, but hallways led to meeting rooms and temporary offices. Nathan decided to explore. The music faded as he walked farther from the ballroom. The corridors grew quiet, lit only by emergency lights. Nathan passed signs reading Morganatic Room, Jefferson Room, Lincoln Room. All empty. He was about to give up and head back when he heard it. A voice, muffled but unmistakable. "Emma." Nathan's heart raced. He followed the sound to a door at the end of the hallway. The sign read, "Hamilton Room, Private." The door was locked, but a thin sliver of light escaped through the gap between the door and its frame. Nathan crept closer, holding his breath. And then he saw. Emma was leaning against a conference table, her legs wrapped around a man's waist. Tyler. Tyler Morrison. The VP of Sales. Salt and pepper temples, expensive suit, wedding ring gleaming under the fluorescent light. Tyler, his groomsman. Tyler, someone Nathan considered a close friend. Tyler, whose 3 kids Nathan knew from weekend barbecues. Nathan's hand trembled as he pulled out his phone. He opened the camera, switched it to silent mode, and began recording. His mind went blank, running on autopilot. Record. Document. He needed proof. Emma's voice was clear now, words Nathan never imagined hearing. "Do you think he'll show up today?" she asked, laughing softly between kisses. "Nathan?" Tyler chuckled, a raspy, confident sound. "No way. He never comes to these things. You said yourself he'd rather stay glued to his computer." "True. Sometimes I think he wouldn't even notice if I disappeared for a whole week." The words cut deeper than any knife. Nathan kept recording. 2 minutes. 3. He captured it all. When his hands started aching from holding the phone, he stopped the video and just stood there, frozen, processing. There were no tears. No panic. Only a cold clarity settling in his chest. Nathan put the phone in his pocket and walked back to the ballroom, each step measured and deliberate. His mind was already weighing options. He had the video. He had proof. Now he had to decide what to do with it. Back in the ballroom, Nathan found a discreet corner and started searching on his phone. Jennifer Morrison, Tyler's wife. He still had her number saved from family barbecues. His hands shook as he opened his messaging app and attached the video. He paused before hitting send. This would destroy families. But he hadn't started that destruction, Emma and Tyler had. Nathan sent the video to Jennifer with a simple note, "I'm sorry you had to find out like this. You deserve the truth." Then he looked up the email for Emma's company's HR department on their corporate website. He attached the video again, this time with a formal message, "Dear HR team, please find attached evidence of inappropriate conduct between employees Tyler Morrison, VP of Sales, and Emma Harris, Marketing Manager. The video shows misuse of company premises during a corporate event. The relationship between a superior and a subordinate from an adjacent department may constitute a violation of company ethics and compliance policies. I'm forwarding this for your appropriate investigation." Nathan reread it 3 times before hitting send. Done. There was no turning back. He put his phone away and took a deep breath. Now he needed to confront them. He circled the ballroom again. Emma and Tyler had returned but were in separate groups, keeping up appearances. He approached Emma first. When she saw him, her face lit up with that smile he used to love. "Nathan. You came. I didn't believe it when they told me. We need to talk. Now." His voice came out cold, controlled. Her smile faltered. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" Hamilton Room. The hallway in the back. You know where it is. Color drained from her face. "Nathan, not here. There. 5 minutes. And bring Tyler. He'll want to hear this too." Nathan turned and walked toward the hallway. His heart pounded like a drum, but he kept his steps steady. Behind him, he could hear Emma urgently whispering to someone, probably Tyler. 4 minutes later, they both entered the Hamilton Room. Nathan was sitting at the same table where he'd seen them just minutes earlier. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. "Nathan, what's going on?" Emma tried to sound casual, but her voice trembled. "Sit." Nathan pointed to the chairs. Neither of them moved. "I said, sit." Tyler cleared his throat. "Man, I don't know what you think you. I recorded it." Nathan cut him off, pulling out his phone. "I was here 20 minutes ago. I saw you too. I recorded everything. Crystal clear audio and video." The silence that followed was absolute. Emma staggered, gripping the edge of the table. Tyler turned as pale as paper. "I've already sent it to Jennifer," Nathan continued, his voice eerily calm. "I also sent it to your company's HR department with a detailed description of policy violations. Misuse of company property. Conflict of interest between departments. Possible harassment given your hierarchical positions." "Nathan, wait, please," Emma stepped forward, tears already streaming. "Wait for what, Emma?" For the first time, his voice rose. "Wait for you to make up more lies? Wait for you two to convince me I didn't see what I saw?" Tyler tried to regain his composure. "Look, Nathan, I get that you're upset." "Upset?" Nathan laughed, a harsh, humorless sound. "Upset is when someone scratches my car or cancels plans. This is betrayal. From you, my best man, my so-called friend. And from her, my wife. Or ex-wife, technically, since I'll be contacting my lawyer Monday morning." Emma sobbed. It was a mistake, Nathan, I swear, we can. A mistake? Nathan stood, pulling out his phone again. He opened the Google Drive backup sync to their home computer, the one Emma thought he didn't know how to access. He showed them the messages. Dated. Organized. These texts are from 2 years ago, Emma. 2 years. You two started this before our wedding. Before I put that ring on your finger and promised fidelity. So no, it wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. Repeated. Hundreds of times. Tyler made one last attempt. Jennifer doesn't need to know all this. We can. Jennifer already knows. Nathan interrupted. She got the video 10 minutes ago. I imagine she's deciding right now whether to call you or her lawyer first. As if on cue, Tyler's phone rang. Jennifer flashed on the screen. He stared at it like it was a ticking bomb. Answer it, Nathan said. She deserves an explanation. Or at least the chance to hear you stammer through some excuse. Tyler didn't answer. The phone rang until it went to voicemail. Nathan turned to Emma. You said I wouldn't even notice if you disappeared for a week. Maybe you were right. I was so focused on being the provider, on building a stable life, that I forgot to pay attention to who I was building it with. But here's the funny thing, now that I know the truth, I realize all those strange looks I got tonight weren't paranoia. Some people knew, Emma. Or at least suspected. And nobody told me. Emma shook her head frantically. Nobody knew, I swear, we were so careful. Careful? You met in company facilities. During corporate events. In rooms anyone could walk into. Nathan took a step toward her. You know what destroys me the most? It's not even the physical betrayal. It's knowing you slept beside me every night and woke up every morning choosing to lie. You looked me in the eyes over breakfast and chose to deceive me. That's what I can't forgive. Tyler finally found words. Nathan, I've ruined everything. My family, my friendship with you. You didn't have a friendship with me, Nathan cut in. Friends don't do this. You had access. Convenience. And you took advantage. Just like you took advantage of your position at the company to get involved with Emma. It wasn't like that, Emma weakly protested. Tyler didn't force me. No? Nathan raised an eyebrow. He's VP, Emma. You're a manager. Even if it's a different department, there's a power dynamic there. HR's going to love investigating that, especially now that Jennifer will probably sue the company for fostering an environment that allowed this to happen. Tyler practically collapsed into a chair. They're going to fire me. Probably, Nathan confirmed without emotion. Ethics code violation. Misuse of company resources. Legal liability risk. You know the compliance manual as well as I do. Actually, better, given your position. He turned to leave but paused. There was one more thing he needed to say. Emma, I came here tonight because I wanted to be better for you. I wanted to surprise you, make you smile, show you I cared. He glanced over his shoulder. But you'd already decided I wasn't enough. Maybe I really wasn't. But you never gave me the chance to know. You never told me you were unhappy. You just went looking elsewhere. With him. Nathan, please, we can try, Emma stepped forward. No, Nathan said, and this time his voice was firm, no anger, just finality. There's no trying here. No second chances. Just lawyers, divorce paperwork, and 2 people who'll have to live with the choices they made. Nathan left the room and walked back down the hallway. He didn't return to the party. He didn't want to hear the music, see the colleagues, pretend everything was normal. He went straight to his car, sat in the driver's seat, and just stayed there for a long while, hands on the wheel, breathing. His phone buzzed. A message from Jennifer Morrison: "Thank you for telling me. I don't even know how to thank you. My lawyer will be contacting you to get a copy of the video as evidence. You saved me from continuing to live a lie." Nathan typed back, "I'm sorry you had to go through this. None of us deserved it." Later that night, back at home, Nathan grabbed the shared laptop, the one where Google automatically backed up everything. He started systematically taking screenshots of their conversations. Not just recent ones, but all of them. Messages from 2 years ago, when Emma and Tyler started talking differently. When "Hey, how are you?" turned into "I can't wait to see you." When work meetings became hotel rendezvous. Nathan organized everything into a folder. Saved it onto 3 separate USB drives. Sent it to his lawyer. He was methodical, almost robotic. But that coldness was the only thing keeping him together. The days that followed were a series of tasks. Nathan met with his lawyer Monday morning. Presented the evidence. The lawyer whistled softly when he saw the volume of material. "This makes everything much simpler," he said. "With proven adultery, especially with this timeline showing it began before the marriage, you have significant leverage. Is the house in your name?" "My parents gave me the down payment," Nathan confirmed. "Then you keep it. As for the rest, it depends on the state, but with this evidence, the judge will likely rule in your favor." In the weeks that followed, Nathan moved into a friend's apartment. He declined all of Emma's calls. Blocked her number after the 20th attempt. There was nothing she could say that would change what had happened. Tyler was placed on investigative leave 3 days after the party. HR took Nathan's complaint seriously. Combined with Jennifer Morrison's threat to sue the company, the board had no choice. The internal investigation uncovered multiple violations: use of company rooms for personal meetings, messages exchanged on corporate email, business trips where Emma and Tyler stayed in nearby hotels without legitimate business justification. 2 weeks later, Tyler was formally fired, not for the affair itself, but for violating the corporate code of conduct, misusing company resources, and creating a conflict of interest that exposed the company to legal risk. Emma was transferred to another division, far from sales, with reduced responsibilities and a 20% pay cut. The company couldn't fire her without due process, but it made clear her career there was over. The divorce was finalized in 4 months, faster than average, according to Nathan's lawyer. Emma didn't contest it. She couldn't, with all that evidence. Nathan kept the house. Emma took her car and half their joint savings, as required by law. Nathan didn't even fight for that money. He just wanted it over. Jennifer Morrison sued Tyler and won full custody of their 3 children. Tyler got supervised visitation and child support that ate up more than half his new salary, a junior role at a startup that took him in after 6 months of unemployment. In the months that followed, Nathan threw himself into work. He accepted a freelance project requiring monthly trips to the West Coast. He moved apartments, adopted a dog named Max, and started therapy. Slowly, week by week, the wound began to heal. It didn't disappear, scars never fully go away, but the sharp pain became more bearable. 8 months after the divorce was finalized, Nathan was at a coffee shop near his office when he saw her. Emma. She was in line at the register, turned away, but he'd recognize that posture anywhere. She looked different, thinner, shorter hair, less polished clothes, nothing like the coordinated outfits she used to wear. When she turned, Nathan saw the deep circles under her eyes, dull skin, and the complete absence of that sparkle she once had. Their eyes met for a brief second. Emma froze, her mouth opening as if to say something. Nathan simply nodded, a neutral, polite acknowledgement, nothing more, and returned his attention to his laptop. When he looked again, she was leaving without ordering anything. Nathan didn't feel satisfaction. He didn't feel sadness. He didn't feel the rage that had consumed the first few months. Just a quiet melancholy for what could have been, if she'd made different choices. If they'd communicated better, maybe. But there was no going back. Only moving forward. 3 weeks later, Nathan met Sophia at a machine learning tech conference. She was an AI developer for a healthcare company, had a sharp sense of humor, and eyes that lit up when she talked about code. They talked for 3 hours about algorithms, 80s movies, the best pizza in town, and why Python was superior to Java. When she asked if he wanted to grab dinner sometime, Nathan hesitated for just a second before saying yes. On their first dinner, Sophia was direct. "Are you divorced or single?" Nathan took a sip of wine, considered giving a vague answer, but chose honesty. "Divorced. A few months ago. My ex cheated on me for 2 years. Found out the worst way possible." Sophia didn't give him that exaggerated pity look Nathan hated. She didn't offer clichés like, "she didn't deserve you." She just nodded thoughtfully, slicing her salmon. "Are you still processing it, or have you moved on?" "Honestly? A bit of both. Some days I wake up and barely remember her. Other days, it feels like it happened yesterday. But I'm working on it. Therapy, the gym, keeping my mind busy." "That's mature," Sophia said, meeting his eyes. "Just let me know if you ever feel like you're not ready for something new. I can handle brutal honesty. I can't handle someone who's still emotionally tied to the past and won't admit it." Nathan liked that. Liked the unfiltered frankness, the total lack of drama. "I think I'm ready to try. Or at least want to be ready." Sophia smiled. "Then let's try and see where it goes." And they did. Surprisingly, it worked. It wasn't love at first sight like it had been with Emma, that intense, impulsive passion that burns out too fast. This was gradual, built on honest conversations, trust earned slowly, and simple shared moments. Sophia met Max and brought him ridiculously expensive dog toys. Nathan met her Italian parents and survived her father's interrogation about serious intentions. 3 months turned into 6. 6 turned into a year. Nathan eventually told Sophia the full story, the party, the video, the private confrontation, sending the evidence to Jennifer and HR. She listened without interrupting, then asked the question he'd feared, "Do you regret how you handled everything? Confronting them like that?" Nathan thought carefully before answering. "I don't regret seeking the truth or confronting them. But sometimes I wonder if I could have done it differently, more discreetly, maybe. But in the heat of the moment, with all that pain, I did what I thought was right. I defended my dignity. And are you at peace with that?" "I am. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. And she lied for 2 years. I just exposed the truth." Sophia laced her fingers with his on the table. "Then I don't see a problem. You weren't violent, you weren't cruel. You were just honest when she wasn't. That's worthy of respect." A year and a half after the divorce, Nathan was installing shelves in his apartment when he got a message from an unknown number. He nearly deleted it, probably spam, but something made him open it. "Nathan, it's Jennifer. Jennifer Morrison. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to thank you. The video you shared with me was crucial in my divorce. Tyler got supervised visitation and is paying generous child support. The kids are with me, and we're rebuilding. Your courage that night gave me the courage not to settle for crumbs. Thank you for that. I hope you're doing well too." Nathan read it 3 times. He stood there, drill forgotten in his hand, processing. Then he typed and deleted several replies before finally settling on, "Jennifer, I'm really glad you and the kids are doing well. You always deserve the truth, however painful. I'm doing well too, moving forward. Take care of yourself and the kids." He didn't mention the message to Sophia. Some chapters needed to stay closed, locked away in memory's drawers. 2.5 years after the party that changed everything, Nathan was at a friend's backyard barbecue when someone casually mentioned seeing Emma on a dating app. Dude, her profile's kind of sad, you know? All those desperate lines like looking for someone who'll truly accept me. Kind of pitiful. Nathan didn't respond. He just flipped a burger on the grill, adjusted the heat, and changed the subject to last week's football game. Because the truth was crystal clear, Emma wasn't his problem anymore. What she did, where she was, who she was with, whether she was happy or broken, none of it mattered to his life anymore. Nathan had rebuilt everything, brick by brick. He had a job that challenged and rewarded him, a healthy relationship built on honesty, loyal friends who'd stood by him through the darkest moments, and a dignity he'd reclaimed that night at the hotel. He still thought about Emma sometimes, but not often. Usually in random, involuntary flashes, when passing the coffee shop where he last saw her, hearing that Coldplay song they used to play in the car, or when Sophia laughed in a certain way that, for a split second, reminded him of Emma. But the pain had transformed over time. It wasn't hatred. Hatred takes energy, emotional investment. It wasn't love. Love had died in that conference room. It was just acceptance. Cold, distant acceptance. Acceptance that people make choices. Some good, some terrible, some irreversible. Emma chose Tyler. Chose betrayal. Chose to lie every day, every night, for 24 straight months. And Nathan chose his own dignity. Chose not to be a passive victim. Chose to start over from scratch if needed. That night at the barbecue, Sophia came over and put a hand on his shoulder as he finished grilling. "Everything okay?" "You got quiet." "Yeah," Nathan replied, and for the first time in years, it was completely true. "Everything's great." She kissed him quickly on the cheek and went off to chat with others about a new work project. Nathan stood there for a moment, spatula in hand, taking in the scene. Friends laughing loudly at an inside joke. Smoke curling lazily from the grill. The summer sunset painting the sky orange and purple. Max chasing after a ball a kid had thrown. Sophia gesturing animatedly about neural networks. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. There was no perfect revenge or absolute poetic justice. Emma wasn't publicly destroyed in some dramatic spectacle. Tyler didn't lose absolutely everything. There were no tearful confessions or desperate pleas for forgiveness in the rain. But it was real. It was authentic. It was built on truth, not lies. And in the end, that wasn't just enough, it was better. Nathan learned that trusting again would be a slow, non-linear process. Sophia was patient but perceptive. She noticed when Nathan tensed up if she came home late without texting. Noticed when he unconsciously glanced at her phone over her shoulder. She never made a scene about it, but she didn't ignore it either. "Do you want access to my phone?" she offered one night, no accusation in her tone, just matter of fact. "Seriously. Biometrics, password, everything. If it makes you more comfortable, I don't mind." Nathan immediately declined, but it stayed with him. The issue wasn't Sophia. It was Emma's ghost hovering over every moment of uncertainty. And ghosts don't vanish just because you ignore them. You have to face them, acknowledge them, and choose not to let them control your present. Nathan returned to therapy with renewed commitment. He worked through the betrayal, the public humiliation Emma caused them both, the lingering anger that still burned in hidden corners of his heart. Session after session, week after week. And slowly, very slowly, Nathan realized he was truly healed the day he noticed he'd gone a whole week without thinking about Emma once. Life continued its natural course. Nathan was promoted to senior software architect with a substantial raise. Sophia moved into his apartment after 2 years of dating, bringing too many plants and an impressive collection of sci-fi novels. They adopted a second dog, Luna, a rescued caramel mutt. Nathan reconnected with hobbies he'd abandoned during his marriage, film photography, weekend hikes, playing mediocre guitar on Friday nights while Sophia cooked. Tyler briefly reappeared on social media through a LinkedIn recommendation. His profile showed a job at a small logistics startup, a coordinator role, probably earning a third of his VP salary. Nathan didn't accept the connection. He just blocked him and mentally filed it away. No anger, no satisfaction. Just nothing. Emma remained a complete mystery. Nathan actively avoided asking about her, and mutual friends eventually stopped mentioning her unprompted. It was as if she'd simply vanished from the story of his life, a secondary character who played her destructive part and exited permanently. Sometimes, in moments of brutal honesty with himself, Nathan wondered if he'd done exactly the right thing that night. Whether sending the video to Jennifer and HR was proportional justice or pain-driven overreach. His friends were split, some thought he'd acted correctly, others suggested he could have been more discreet. Nathan stopped caring about outside judgments on deeply personal decisions. Because in the end, looking back with the clarity only time provides, he hadn't acted out of sadistic revenge. He'd acted for truth. Jennifer deserved to know her marriage was a sham. HR deserved to know 2 employees were violating company policies using company resources. And Nathan deserved to reclaim some control over a narrative Emma and Tyler had written without his consent or knowledge. It might not have been perfect. It might have caused collateral damage. But it was honest in a sea of lies. And Nathan could live peacefully with that. 3 years after the party that split his life into, before and after, Nathan proposed to Sophia on a trail they hiked every month. Nothing elaborate, just the 2 of them, a sunset, and a simple question. She said yes before he even finished asking. When they were planning the wedding months later, Sophia casually asked, "Do you think you'll invite anyone from your first marriage? Friends who knew both of you?" Nathan thought carefully. "Some, yes. The ones who stood by me afterward. The ones who didn't know but stayed on my side when they found out. But not everyone. And if she shows up somehow?" Nathan looked at Sophia, her honest brown eyes, her smile with no hidden meanings, the life they were building together on solid foundations of truth. "If she shows up, which is extremely unlikely, it won't change anything. That chapter is closed, archived, and locked away. This is our chapter. Our beginning. Nothing from the past is going to taint that." And when Nathan said those words, he realized he finally, genuinely believed them. Emma's ghost had been exorcised, not by anger or revenge, but by something far more powerful, indifference born from inner peace. Nathan was at peace, with his choices, with their consequences, with the future he was consciously building every day. And in the end, that was exactly what mattered. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any updates. See you next time.